Hello, everybody. Good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, our amazing audience from wherever you're joining us and wherever you're watching us from today. You're welcome. You're welcome to our highly anticipated webinar, Positioning Yourself to be a Successful Techpreneur, Relevant Tech Skills for 2024. I'm thrilled to have you all here today as we embark on a journey to employ the strategies and skills essential for driving and thriving in the dynamic world of technology and entrepreneurship. All right, so before we proceed any further, I'd like for you to talk to your colleagues, share the link, talk to your colleagues, tell them about the meeting that is going on here today. It's going to be insightful. We have with you amazing speakers with us here who are going to be dissecting this topic with us. So I just want you to tell your friends, tell your neighbors, share the link with them so that they can join us for this insightful section. So if you don't know me, my name is Antonia Anyawo, Programs and Learning Officer and Community Manager for Institute of Technology, Lagos. And joining me today is my amiable and always inspiring co-host, the one and only Mr. Oluwatosin Oloko Obi, who is the head of programs and learning of Institute of Technology. And we also, like I mentioned earlier, and we have amazing panelists today with us on seats. Today is very special because this is the pilot of our webinar for the year 2024. And in a bit, my co-host, the amazing Mr. Tosin, who I've told you about, is going to be doing justice to introducing our panelists in a more special and dignified manner. So I'm just going to leave that for him. And he'll be telling us more about today's webinar. In the ever-evolving landscape of the global tech industry, positioning oneself for success is not just a goal, it is a necessity. The tech sector has become a powerhouse, contributing significantly to the world economy. Now more than ever, staying ahead of the curve is imperative, as in you can't even overemphasize it, staying ahead of the curve and having a position of advantage. So as we delve into today's webinar, into today's discussion, let us take a moment to reflect on some intriguing facts in Nigeria, the tech markets, and all of that. So before passing the baton to Mr. Tosin, I just had to gloat a minute. Today we have the ladies represented in full gear. I just had to take that laugh. You know, normally would have the gentlemen and it was kind of a powerful, but today we have the ladies in full gear representing us. So up for the ladies.
Yeah, so I'm so excited actually that you're having.
I'm so excited to have, I don't want to have two more power ladies in the house today with me. I'm so excited. Mr.
I
Tosin,
can I
yeah,
can
I'll make you
imagine.
feel any way intimidated. Yes, because this is the tech ecosystem.
I can actually imagine. I can actually imagine. I'm so super excited that we have more of the ladies in the house today. And we have but then it's just for us trying to balance the SDG goals just to give access to the female gender, to actually help them to be on the global stage and to actually make a very great percentage of our representation in the country. So I'm going to start by introducing our guest for today, and that's what I'm going to be doing first. So permit me that I'll be starting even with a female. I'll be starting with so very Go Branding Tech, a tech company in Lagos, Nigeria. She currently works with Dev and Design as a product designer. Before co-founding Go Branding Tech, she has been privileged to work in different industries such as real estate, law firm, impact investment, financial institution, market research, print and media, and edtech, among other companies she has worked with or industry she has worked for. And so very quickly, afterwards, she discovered a lot of untapped opportunity in tech, which ignited her to become more passionate about mentoring women and young individuals who are interested in transiting or starting a career in the tech space. That is a brief about Oluwatomi Duduyemi. And so very quickly, I'm also going to be reading a short pow of another female. I just want to take the female first today. I don't know what is happening, but then maybe that's going to actually help Antonia to be more excited than doing justice to the female gender today. Yeah, so very quickly, I'm reading the biography of Moreni KG Abiono, another female panelist among us today. So very quickly, Moreni KG is a graduate of the University of Lagos, Nigeria, where she earned a second-class upper degree in linguistic Yoruba in 2019. After the completion of her National Youth Service Corps, she transitioned into the HR industry in 2021. Her professional journey was born out of a passion for connecting people and opportunities. In 3 years, she has experienced and is still experiencing a rapid establishment in the dynamic world of recruitment. After her first job at a photography studio in Lagos, she has worked in a tech HR outsourcing company, and now she has worked in one of the biggest fintech company in Nigeria. As an IT recruiter, she possesses the ability to identify potential talent, a sourcing approach that is marked by a unique blend of empathy and strategy thinking. In addition to all that, she is passionate about helping talent get jobs that enrich their lives, which goes beyond matching candidates with job description. All this ability with the help of God, as she always says, set apart on the job. And so very quickly, let me just go. She's a lifelong learner and is committed to personal growth and development. Looking ahead, Moreni KG envisions a future where she continues to make a positive impact in lives of every individual she encounters and out of the career domain. So probably today, that's a brief about Moreni KG. She's going to make an impact in my life and even Antonia's life. She's going to help us discover other things that we need to actually discover today, because that last line is very, very important. And she's also going to help the Institute of Technology get some impact. I so love that. So the last, but is not the last on the list. Let me just mention that we now have the male in the house, one of the panelists.
The power gentleman. Woo, woo.
Yes, woo, and woo. He's not a person than Sakaribu Senibo. I don't know if I'm right with the pronunciation of the name. So very quickly, he's a results-driven technical professional committed to enhancing technology for positive change and optimizing business operations. As a seasoned startup advisor, he guides entrepreneurs, early-stage startups, and businesses in evaluating the market potential and viability of their ideas, products, or services. Furthermore, Sokaribo is a software developer with experience as Chief Technology Officer and Director of Technology for various startups, leading cross-functional items to develop and optimize diverse technology solutions. Beyond his professional endeavors, Sokaribo is dedicated to leveraging technology for social impact. He actively volunteers his time to empower nonprofit and impact organizations to adopt technology solutions that amplify the reach and effectiveness of their charitable initiatives. With this, I am so glad to say that the three panelists we have on the podium today are full of impact. And so I'm so sure that even beyond me and Antonia, other persons watching us across the globe will also have an impact during this session. Thank you so much, Antonia. That's a brief about them. Thank you.
All right. So before you, Mr. Tosin goes on to tell us about today's webinar, Mr. Tosin, I just had to point out to our guests today how special today's webinar is. Not only is it the pilot for this year's webinar series, we're having a discussion, a very strategic discussion that will help our audience to position themselves for a successful 2024. And then we're going to be having dynamic a talent recruiter on board, we have a product designer on board, we have a software engineer, and someone who actually advises startups for a living. So Mr. Tosin, I just needed to point that out to us. I know I made some calls, and I'm saying we actually responded to those calls we sent to our friends and family. Let's just keep the ball rolling. Please share to more of your family and friends. They need to hear this insight for today's webinar. Mr. Tosin, thank you, sir. I think you're muted. You're muted, Mr. Tosin.
All right, thank you very much. So I'm just going to be taking a brief introduction of this session today, because I know we have wonderful expert panelists in the house that will actually help us make just some of the questions, some of those things we are going to be talking about, because this is a pilot session for the year. This is our first webinar of the year, and I'm so super excited of what is happening with us at Eco Institute of Technology. So very quickly on the topic that says positioning yourself to be a successful techpreneur, and to position yourself, we are talking about the relevant tech skills for 2024. We are in another year, and we see that we are even getting closer to the year of SDG, which is 2030. And as we get closer, it seems there is a continuous involvement in the use of technology, digital world. A lot of things are changing. People are somewhere, they are doing something in some other town. And so we are talking about those relevant skills that can actually help us in this year. So what do I say? Globally, the tech space continues to shape industries and redefine the way we live and work. The World Economic Forum predicts that by 2025, that is next year, by 2025, over half of the world's population will be connected to the internet. So that's a prediction. And that is by next year, over half of the world population will be connected to the internet, further emphasizing the pivotal role of technology in our lives. That is, anybody who is not connected to the tech world now, I don't know, because by then, 50% of the population of the global space will actually have access to internet. Throughout our discussion, we will actually uncover the art of strategic positioning in the tech market. We also discover tips for identifying niche market and capitalizing on emerging opportunities, and exploit the key tech skills vital for success in 2024. We will also touch upon the challenges faced by techpreneurs and strategies for continuous skill development to ensure relevance and competitiveness. So I just want to actually see how I can summarize this to actually let us know the focus of this session. And very quickly, without further ado, I want us just to go into that session very well, because the topic itself has actually been self-explanatory to tell us we are just looking at how we can actually scale for 2024. That is looking at the relevant tech skills that are needed for this year, and also to prepare us for even the future ahead. In one of the research I even saw recently, it was predicted by 33% of the global industry that we actually have to upskill about 50% of their workers for the coming years, which means everybody have to actually stay relevant. We have to actually keep our eyes on what we can do better, and actually the skills are necessary for us to thrive. We have been hearing about the AI, but then is there regulation for AI? Is there other challenges we have to discuss? We have been hearing about cloud computing, web development, and all development. So all of these things are what we'll be mentioning today. Thank you, Antonia.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Tosin. Wow, amazing. We're in for a very, very amazing time. And before we proceed to start answering questions, I want to shout out to the EIT community. I see some of you on board today. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think I saw Victor somewhere. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So we'll commence with discussion for today. But before we start, I'd like to give our panelists just a room to give us just a minute just to talk about themselves, what they do. We've read their bio, very inspiring. We've seen how some of them have weren't originally in technology, but have somehow managed to navigate themselves to where they are now. So I just want to give our three panelists an opportunity to just tell us something about themselves, something we don't know already. Just 1 minute, and then we'll go to the discussion proper. So who should we start with? I think we should start with Moran Keji.
Hi, guys. Good evening. Thank you very much for inviting me here. I don't know if everyone here is from Nigeria, so I'll say good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I believe that the fact that this is a co-institute does not mean that we can't have other people from different parts of the world. Okay, my name is Morenikeji, as you already know, and I'm a recruiter at a fintech organization in Nigeria. One thing that I think everything that I would probably love to say has already been said on my bio. One thing that you don't know about me, I don't know yet. Okay, yes, I think I didn't mention that I recently started doing content creation for HR so that I can have like reach to as many people as possible. And like it says on my bio, I can impact them in their career. So I think that's one thing I didn't mention. So that's one thing you didn't already know about me.
Ooh, nice.
Thank you, Antonia.
Thank you. So let's give the gentleman balancing the way today.
I thought we were going to still do ladies first before me.
No, don't worry, don't worry. It's equal justice for all. So Karibo, so Karibo is going to be telling us something we don't know about him already, and then we'll get. I know people are waiting. People just want to hear what you have for us today. So they're like, "Can we hurry up? I mean, hurry up already." So please, 1 minute. Tell us something we don't know about you already.
Okay. Good day, everyone. My name is Sokaribo Sedibo. Okay, Sedibo means chief. Okay, so that's one thing you don't know. Okay. Well, anyways, in terms of what I do, I think they have done justice to explain the majority of the things I do. And but you can categorize it into three, which is the best parts being I am an early stage startup consultant. So I tend to work with a lot of early stage startups, okay, to more or less help them get from ideation to MVP in the shortest time possible. And then I do also write a lot of code. So I am a software developer. And I also work for I am also in the tech for good industry, which is basically me saying I tend to work with a lot of nonprofit organizations to more or less help them adopt technology to scale up the work that they do. Okay, so that's me. I am in my village. I'm not in Nigeria. That's okay.
Amazing. But your village is in Nigeria. You told me you're from Rivers. So not
Oh,
to bring personal gist into our webinar. We're very serious here. Let's thank you so much, Chief,
anyway, okay.
for sharing that info with us. So lastly, but definitely not the least, the beautiful Dynamite. Tommy, she said I could call her Tommy, Olua Tommy. So just one thing about yourself, and then we'll go into the meeting proper.
Good everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, please permit me to have an audio section with you, or permit me, please. I really apologize for that. Okay, so one thing I might say you don't know about me is that I'm a lover of knowledge. I think I upskill almost every year. Yes, I didn't start out as a designer. I started out as a graphic designer. Every year I try to upskill because I want to remain relevant in the tech industry. And to remain relevant, you need to keep upskilling. So I think that's one thing you don't know about me. I'm a lover of knowledge. Anything that has to do with knowledge, I'm in for it. Anything that has to do with learning new things. So that's just something about it. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Guys, I think they deserve a clap. So if you can just react and then give them a clap. They did an amazing job and they are really inspiring. So to jump into proper today's discussion, we're going to be having we're going to have a general session, and then as we proceed, if you have any questions that pop up, you can post them on our chat wherever you're streaming. This is streaming across all our social media platforms on Twitter Space, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So wherever you are, you can just post your question. Wherever you're viewing this from, you can just post your questions on the chat, and then we would do well to answer your question. And if the time is not sufficient enough, whether you're restreaming this video, you can drop your chat and you will be well assured that we would attend to your chat. So considering the ever-changing tech industry, and I liked what Tommy said. She said she's upskilling every year to keep herself relevant in the tech industry. So Mr. Tosin, I've not forgotten about you. Mr. Tosin is here. He's going to be my holding partner, my ever dependable co-host. Considering the ever changing tech industry, what key advice do you have for individuals aspiring to become successful techpreneurs in 2024 in terms of strategic positioning and skill development? So I think I want to start with Tommy on this. Hello. Okay, I think I lost Tommy. So let me
take that question. Please,
okay, I'll take it, and then you can also reference the question on the chat box. So I said, considering the ever-changing tech industry, what key advice do you have for individuals aspiring to become successful techpreneurs in 2024 in terms of strategic positioning and skill development?
Okay, so, well, what I would just say is three things. For anyone aspiring to be a successful tech techpreneur rather, that person has to be consistent. You need to be very, very consistent with whatever you are doing, whatever skills you are aspiring to get. You need to be very, very consistent with it. And another thing is that you need to get right mentoring, as a right mentorship. You need to, most times, many of us think starting a career, you don't need mentors, or maybe mentors can bore you out, or you don't really need some people in your space. I know some of us are introverts. Some of us in the tech space, a lot of us are introverts. We don't want to associate ourselves with individuals. But whether you like it or not, you need the right mentorship. And the essence of right mentorship is that when you get the right people to partner with you, or the right mentors in your space, it helps you get to that position or that place you want to get on time. That's one thing. You need to be consistent. Another thing, you need to get right mentorship. And another thing is that you need to understand trends. Whether you like it or not, we are in a dynamic world. The world is changing. As about maybe 30 to 50 or 100 years ago, nobody was talking about technology. But right now, everywhere you see tech sis, tech bro. Everybody wants to get married to tech bro. You believe if you get married to a tech bro, maybe something. So that's how it changes. That's how the world is changing. The world is very, very dynamic. So as you are consistent, as you are getting the right mentorship, you also need to ensure that you understand trends. So that's just what I would say. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. When you were talking about the tech bright, I noticed my co-host smiling. So speaking on trends, Tommy spoke about the importance of consistency in what you're doing, and she also spoke about mentorship, and then she gave insights to trends in the tech ecosystem. I want to ask Chief. I don't want to stop so carryable. Can I refer to you, Chief? I think Chief is easier for me to pronounce. All right, so Chief, I'm going to be addressing my next question to you. So in your experience, right, you're a you're a software engineer, you also advise startups. So in your experience, how has the tech industry evolved, and what emerging trends do you foresee shaping the industry in 2024? And how can individuals leverage these trends to their advantage? How can they position themselves? How can they take advantage of these trends to enter into the tech industry? So I'm going to be posting the questions on the chat box so you can reference them.
All right, that's fine. Okay. Well, the quick one, can I add to the first question that you asked, Tommy?
Yes, definitely.
Just a quick one. Okay, Tommy made reference to mentorship. Okay, I am not a fan of that word, okay, because I feel mentorship can actually be really, really stressful, okay, when it comes to the space that we are in. Okay, so I always prefer guidance towards mentorship. Okay, when I started my tech career, okay, truth be told, I never had a mentor, okay, but I had people that were there to more or less guide me. Okay, so as you're starting, as you were more or less moving in the tech industry, sometimes getting the mentor can actually be really difficult, but you can actually go and look for people that are willing to give you that guidance that you need to move on. All right. So that's one thing I wanted to add. Okay, with respect to the question that you asked me, which is how has the tech landscape evolved and what emerging trends do I foresee shaping the industry? Okay, when we're doing the introduction, we actually mentioned a couple of them. And the first of them, which everybody is already aware of, is the AI and machine learning. So there's been a huge buzz of AI, and machine learning. And I think that trend is still going to continue in 2024. Okay, so as you are trying to leverage what is happening and you're trying to understand, leverage strengths to your advantage, you can look towards the AI and the machine learning industry. Then another trend is the one on extended reality. Okay, so extended reality, I know majority of the focus for extended reality has majorly been on the gaming industry. Okay, but truth be told, in 2024, we'll see more we'll see more shift of the extended reality away from the gaming industry towards education, healthcare, thanks to 5G. So that is going to make that possible. So that is also one trend that you can actually look towards. Okay, and then the world is going digital, and from the statistics that what's his name, Tosin, from the statistics that Tosin mentioned, which is basically 50% of the world is going to be connected by 2025. So with all of this connectivity, there's going to be an increase in the issue of cybersecurity. Okay, so cybersecurity is going to continually be a major trend. Okay, the threats are going to increase, so they would need to have that ever dynamic change with respect to cybersecurity. So that's one trend that we have to look towards. And then sustainable tech solutions, which is we're becoming more conscious of the way the world is, and we are becoming more eco-friendly. Okay, as a nation, as a world, as an individual. Okay, more attention has been given towards sustainability, the ecosystem, and the rest of them. So for 2024, we would see a lot of emerging trends with respect to sustainable technology solutions. Okay, so if you are looking towards leveraging trends, and these are trends that you can look towards and then more or less leverage them. All right.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So you answered the first part of our question. Mr. Tosin, do you see what is going on here?
I can. I'm so I'm so excited anyway.
At some point. Yeah, go on.
Because even as a learning and development expert, it's also an avenue for us to actually see what is going on, to actually hear from people who are in the industry to tell us this is what is going on, this is what we have to do, and I keep telling people, as a learning and development expert, you don't assume that you know the tech skills that the people need. If you don't engage in serious research to know how the world is evolving, you give the people the wrong skills to learn. Honestly, I'm so super excited about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tosin. So, Sokaribo, I'm going to attempt to pronounce your name very
just pronounce it
accurate.
All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So you answered the first part of our question, which was giving us insights into some of these technology trends that are going to be dominant in the year 2024. So I want to ask a question on behalf of those that are just coming into the tech enthusiasts, people that are not really tech savvy as of now, or even those that are tech savvy. How can they take advantage of these trends? How can they position themselves rightly and take advantage of this trend to excel in their tech career?
Okay, taking advantage of it. Okay, I think taking advantage of it falls down to, first of all, upskilling, just like Tommy said. So upskilling is one way that you can actually take advantage of all of this. These are trends that are going to be on for a duration of time. Okay, so you can upskill to take advantage of all of those. And then with respect to that upskilling, I am a fan of diverse skill set. Okay, sorry, I'm in Nigeria and our wonderful NEPA has done their NEPA. Okay, so okay, so diverse skill sets. Okay, which is still towards complementary skills. Okay, the way the world is going, the tech industry is ever evolving, and changes are moving very, very fast. Changes are moving very, very fast. Okay, so you have to have the ability to upskill, but as you're upskilling, have a level of complementary skills in your arsenal. Okay, so that's one way you can take advantage of this. Another way you can take advantage of this is still you being adaptable and you being able to adapt. Okay, so since everything is changing, you have to be able to easily adapt. And then networking, okay? And networking for me goes in two ways. The first way is basically you networking with people, going out to meet people. And the other aspect of networking for me is you actively seek out opportunities. Okay, you see a lot of people in the tech space. You want things to come to you. Okay, you don't go out to look for things. Okay, that's actually you stalling your growth. Okay, so as you are getting into the industry and you want to leverage all of these things, you have to actively look out for opportunities and then go for these opportunities and try to grab them. So I think with those three things, you should be able to leverage all of this.
Thank you so much. So you for your insights. You spoke about upskilling and then the relevance of developing complementary skills. My CEO would call it having vertical exits, and then networking, the relevance of networking and how it cannot be overemphasized. I don't know if Mr. Tosin has something to throw in that if I proceed.
Yeah, so that is just it. You know, I was in the office some days ago, and I think I was actually just so carried away to actually make research on what our colleague at the office actually studied or read in school, just like Sukaribu has said. And even for me personally, I read physics, right? So imagine that I didn't upskill, or I was so fixed on just my course of study, the world might have just left me behind. So there is a need for consistency, just like Tony has said, and there is a need for people to actually take advantage of what is going on, right? So understand that even if you're an expert in the cybersecurity space, we also have other cybersecurity experts in the space. But then what are you doing differently that can actually pitch you ahead of others? That is how you can you can actually stay ahead. Or probably you're in an industry and your company is saying, okay, now we want to take you out of this country, come and explore another country. And probably get to that country. We know you're a cybersecurity expert, but there's another problem that needs to be solved and you have not of skill. So you just find out you are actually left behind. So I actually relate with all of the things they are saying, and I'm so much with you. I'm actually taking a lot of notes, and that's why I see me going off and on. I'm actually taking a lot of notes. A lot of things are happening in this 2024. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tosin. Thank you. He said, don't plateau. Keep upskilling yourself. So I'm going to be addressing, it's so amazing again, like I said, we're having it from different perspectives, right? We're having it from the startup advisor's perspective, we're having it from the product designer perspective, and also a tech recruiter's perspective. So I'm going to be directing this question to Moreni KG. As an expert in your field, what are the common challenges you have observed in tech entrepreneurship space you work with, and how can individuals navigate these challenges effectively to position themselves for success this year? So again, the
Could you
question
please
is
state the
posted.
question again?
Yeah, so the question again is posted on the group chat, but I'll go over it again. As an expert in your field, in your respective areas, what are the common challenges you have observed in the tech entrepreneurship space, and how can individuals navigate these challenges effectively to position themselves for success this year?
Okay. So common challenges that I've observed in the tech entrepreneurship space. First, there is the problem of tech people, like somebody mentioned, I think it was Tommy, mentioned that tech people are like introverts. So there is the problem of most tech people just wanting to be in their own space and they don't like visibility. And I think that's a challenge because that way there are talents, but the talents are not so out there. And that means when there are talents, when the talents are not visible, then there is nobody filling the opportunities. You see people say things like, oh, there are no jobs, there are no jobs. I'm a recruiter. I'm always looking for people to fill positions in my company. So there are jobs, right? But the reason why you may not be getting any of this job is because you have not positioned yourself well. You have not put yourself out there, right? So that's number one, visibility. The second thing I would say is that tech people, you guys need to do better. You guys need to do better in the sense that when these opportunities come your way, I've noticed that a lot of tech people don't know how to grab the opportunities. So let's say, for instance, many times they come into the interviews, and I know that you are brilliant. I know that when they give you codes, you can write them. But when you can't communicate in the most basic language that even a child can understand, then I'm not convinced. So let's say you come into an interview and there are two other people that are as great as you are, but I gave you guys coding challenge. You guys, all of you passed. And when it comes to the oral part of the interview, these other two people, or maybe there's just this one person that is good on the technical end, that is good orally, the person's communication is great. I would be more convinced about hiring that person than hiring somebody who is just great with the technical aspect. So it shouldn't be that you are good on one end and you're not good on the other end. Make sure that whatever you do, you are excellent all around, right? Technology, being a tech entrepreneur is all about using technology to solve problems. So you don't want to be somebody who only has technology in his head. Because the people that you want to solve their problems, a lot of them don't understand technology, right? So you need to be able to break down the solutions that you have to these people. I know it is technical, but you need to be able to communicate it to these people in a way that they would understand. Now, how you can navigate these challenges and position yourself for success, it's almost the same thing they've said, upskilling, but I'm going to be saying it in a different way. Continuous learning. Never stop learning. The tech space is not stagnant. It is always moving. It is always evolving, right? I mean, there's this care about AI that AI is going to take your job, AI is going to take your job. AI is actually not after your life. It's not out there to ruin your destiny. It's not out there to ruin your career, right? In the actual sense, it is for effectiveness. It is to make your life easy. But if you don't learn about it, you might just hear what people say and run with it. So if you're in the tech space, it is not enough to put your ears on the ground for what people are saying. You need to know where you can get this information and also continue learning. Number two, be visible. Please be visible. You have solution. You maybe if it was back in 2020, you had the solution to healing COVID. But if you never told anyone, we won't know that you have the solution, right? So be visible. Let people know what you are doing. Let people know the problems that you are solving. That way, it is easier, right? That way, it is easier. Then another thing that I'm going to say here is something Sekaribo, I'm so sorry, Sekaribo said earlier. Please network. Please network. And he mentioned something about guidance. Oluwatomi mentioned something about mentorship. I'm going to say there is one common problem that a lot of us, I used to have that problem until I learned the better way to do it. Stop going into people's DMs to say, please come and mentor me if they don't already know you from anywhere. People love when you can offer value to them. So if you want somebody to guide you, if you want somebody to mentor you, a better approach to doing that won't be saying, come and mentor me or come and guide me. You want to offer them value because these people are very busy. They are very busy with life. Maybe somebody is the director of one company. It's not easy to be a director. Maybe the person is a supervisor somewhere. That's not an easy task at all. So you want to present yourself as a helper. Oh, this is the value I can offer you. I know this is what you do because you should research what they do. I know this is what you do, and I'd like to help you in this way and in this way. If there are 5 people asking that person for mentorship, the person is going to pay attention to you. Why? Because you have something to offer. So I think those are common challenges that I have noticed, and I ways that you can position yourself to be above those challenges.
All right. So thank you very much, KG. It's a very, very good one to hear from you. So I remember there was a day I was just surfing through my Twitter account, and I noticed somebody saying that he actually recommended someone for a job in Shell, and this person actually passed all of the interview stage. But you know the feedback the recruiter are giving the person who recommended this person. The recruiters are saying, but this person doesn't talk. All through the conversation we're having, he wasn't giving any input. He wasn't saying yes. He wasn't saying no. So it means beyond the tech skills that everybody are learning, there is a need for people to even understand the power of communication and to have the required life skills that are necessary for them to thrive. And that is one thing we are so big at Eco Institute of Technology. Aside from the fact that we talk about tech skills, we talk about entrepreneurship. There's also a part of our programs that deals with life skills, helping people know, understand empathy, learning communication, learning all of these things, because it is true, we have a lot of introverts. We have a lot everywhere around us. But then how can we help them? It is for us to actually, help them do one or two that can actually help them scale as an individual. In fact, in one of our training that is going on presently, we call something we call something 70-20-10 learning approach, where they actually have to work in group. You are meeting this person for the first time, and this person is in your group. So there's a need for you to actually work with them. That will help you build your communication skills. That will help you build some other skills, collaboration, teamwork, and all of these things are what recruiters are looking for in the global space. Thank you very much, KG. I don't know if Antonia wants to say something. Antonia, do you want to say something, or do you want me just take it off from there?
Yeah, amazing. So amazing. I was engaging with some of our participants online. Everybody is having an amazing and insightful time. So yeah, thank you so much for your insight on that question. So I'm going to be Mr. Tosin, so that we balance it out. It's not just the ladies talking, we're all for equality and and a world full of justice. And also I'm going to give the baton to Mr. Tosin. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much, Antonia. Thanks you for actually trying to do all of this SDG something. Yeah. So just very quickly, I want to just go to the panel session. We have started already, but I just want these questions to be very, very specific to our panelists. And so you can just help me drop some of these questions as I read them so that they can actually grab. And this question is going to Sukaribo. I'm asking, as a seasoned startup advisor, you're an advisor. I know that you have played a pivotal role in guiding entrepreneurs and startups. In the last few years, you must have been doing this. And in the context of 2024, this year, presently where we are, how can individuals looking to venture into the tech entrepreneurship strategically position their startups for success? That is, people who are not looking to actually venture into the startup industry, how can they strategically position their startups for success in this year? And that's the first question. And more so, what key tech skills do you believe will be crucial? You have actually said that before, so you might not necessarily want to go back to that second part of the question. But how do you think these startups can position themselves for success in this year? Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so with respect to that question, I think one of the major things that I have been an advocate for, you can all hear me, right? Okay. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. I can hear you.
So one thing I have been a major advocate on, which I think it's still valid, is domain expertise. Okay. Now, we see a lot of people that want to build stuff in the tech ecosystem, but you have a limited knowledge of the industry you want to innovate in. So take, for instance, you want to build a therapy startup, but you have never seen a therapy. You don't know a therapist. You don't know the process of being a therapist, and you want to innovate in the therapy in industry. Okay, so one thing that is very, very relevant and which we have to pay attention to okay, is that fact that you need to get domain expertise. Okay, so take the time to understand the domain you want to innovate in. It is very, very important for you to have that deep knowledge, deep level of understanding of that domain. Then another aspect is your ability to understand regulations. Okay, we know we are in Nigeria, and regulations can easily you can just wake up one morning and this has changed, this has changed, this has changed. So you also have to have the ability to stay in the trend with regulations. Okay, so staying in the trend with regulations, that's another thing that you need to do. And then as a startup, your ability to identify a clear market need. Okay, so identify a clear market need that is suitable to the environment that you want to launch in. Okay, don't just go and you have this idea in your head. Okay, so because of you have this idea in your head, idea is very, very cheap, and then you just implement it with no form of validation. And then there is the way my friend describes it. He says, majorly in Africa, we build the dam, okay, and expect the river to flow. Okay, instead of looking for where the river is and building a dam there. Okay, so when you want to build and when you want to build a space, when you have an idea, okay, try as much as possible to validate the idea in a customer-centric approach. Okay, especially when you're building for Africa and Nigeria. Okay, try to get that customer feedback to say, okay, this is a need that is actually being needed, and it's not something that is just in your head. Okay, and then it still falls back to and lastly, it falls back to networking. Okay, there's a role of mentors, there's a role of advisors, there's a role of investors, there's a role of knowledge programs like this. You need to be able to gain as much knowledge as possible. Okay, so go out, seek for knowledge, seek knowledge. Okay, if you are starting a startup or if you run a startup, okay, part of the stuff we do at Startup Tribe is majorly providing that knowledge. Okay, so take for instance, I want to be a software developer. There is a learning process I have to go towards to be a software developer. I want to be a designer. There is a learning, there's stuff I need to learn. Okay, but you find people becoming founders and what did you learn? Okay, and yeah, I just woke up and they had this idea and I built and became a founder. Okay, so part of the things that we try to do is to provide that education. Okay, all of the fundamental things you need to know as a founder. You need to understand your industry terms. You need to understand those key and essential basic things that you as a founder need to know. So I think that covers that question. And then for the other part of the question, which I had already answered before, it's still the same thing. Okay, AI, machine learning, cybersecurity. The world is also going cloud. So cloud computing is one skill that is you should look into. Data science and analytics. Since everything is going to the cloud, since everything is going digital, data is being generated. So there will always be the need to interpret all of those data. Okay, software development is still relevant. Software and mobile development is still a relevant skill that you can actually learn. Okay, and but in addition to all of this, also try to get people and project management skill, especially if you're a startup or you want to start a startup. Okay, you have to be able to manage small teams to be able to give you the result that you actually want. So people and management skills is one skill that you need to add attach to any skill that you want to develop. So, all right, good to go.
Right. So thank you very much. I'll just give the floor to Antonia to ask Oluwatomi the next question. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief, for that input. So I'm going to be telling my next question to Tommy. Tommy, given your experience in diverse industries and your current role as a product designer, how do you suggest individuals, especially women and young talents, strategically position themselves for success in the tech industry in 2024 in terms of design and innovation? And then what skills and perspectives do you consider essential for techpreneurs aiming to create impactful products and standouts in the market? I know it's very it's a lot, but I'm going to post it on the group chat so that you can reference it. And before you give us answer to that, so we have the beautiful Lua Bimpe, our social media manager, who has dropped the link to our social media handles. So if you want to get more insight from us, just kindly check the group chat, and then you would see the links she has provided for us. You can click on it and then be a part of our community today. So tell me, I'm posting the question on the group chat for you to read it. Thank you. Over to you, darling. Okay, I think Tommy is having a bit of network challenge. Tommy, are you still with us?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes, we can.
Muted. Okay. So one thing I tell individuals is that when you are starting out in a career, don't surround yourself with negative-minded individuals. See, you're just like Moreni Keji said, Chief also said, networking. See, when it comes to building anything, don't look for too many advices. Like you are here asking, before you know it, you kill that idea. So ensure that you surround yourself with positive-minded individuals, people that believe in your dream, people that believe in your vision, people that believe in what you can do. You understand? People that pushes you that, okay, you can do this thing. Not people that are even while telling them what you want to do, they're already saying, one of my friends did it last year. This is what he ended up with. They'll be giving you bad instances. You don't want to start with that. This is a new year. There are a lot of negative comments out there. Don't go in for that. Don't even agree with it at all. That's one thing. Number two is motivate yourself. You're the only person that can motivate yourself. Nobody can motivate you to learn. See, even while we were in school then, courses, 401, different kind of courses, night classes. It's not easy. And sitting down with the exams, now that we're even out of school, we're trying to upskill, trying to learn new things to remain relevant, to earn an income, to stabilize yourself. And the kind of country you even find yourself, it's not encouraging. Doing so much and you're getting little, some kind of thing. So you're the only one that can motivate yourself. Get your joy. There should be an inner joy within you. It should be something that you do, that you derive so much happiness from. So ensure that you do it often. Motivate yourself. Be self-motivated. You understand? Number one, don't surround yourself with negative individuals. Number two, motivate yourself. Number three, believe in your dreams. Believe in these things. So when you're talking about, now, we're having this discussion this year. I know that we had series of this kind of section last year. And let me ask you a rhetorical question. What did you do with everything? You had a lot, you were on YouTube, you were on everything, and you got tired at some point. Why did you get tired? It was because you felt maybe you can't do it, or you felt you're not good enough. And there is this imposter syndrome. Yes, this syndrome that makes you feel less of yourself. No, you don't need to feel less of yourself, because the way you carry yourself is the way people will carry you. Whether you like it or not, whatever is in you is what you're going to give out. So don't have self-doubt about your personality. Just go in for whatever you want. Self-motivate yourself. That's one. Number two, ensure that you surround yourself with positive individuals. And number three, whatever it is that you dream of, you can achieve it. So that's what I'm going to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tommy. Self-motivate yourself. No grief for anyone, in other words. Surround yourself with positive inspiration, and then the sky is just the beginning. So you're only limited to as far as you can dream. Thank you so much, Tommy, for that. So Mr. Tosin, are you going to be asking the last question? I see our time is fast spent.
Yeah, so
are you going to ask that question?
All right, let me do that. So sorry to mention again that Tommy is a politician anyway. She didn't say that. That was why you could hear from her voice to say, don't grieve for anyone. So, yeah. So KG, this is the last question. Considering the fact that we are actually, there's a lot happening in this digital space, in digital landscape of fintech, and the increasing demand for specialized tech skills. In the fintech industry, we now have people that, I remember one person always tell us, some people will take their CV to ChatGPT to help them build. When you get them on the job, you will know that they lack the required skills. So now, considering that there is an increasing demand for specialized tech skills in the fintech industry, How do you advise aspiring techpreneurs to strategically position themselves in 2024 to capture the opportunities within the fintech industry? That is, in the fintech, we have specialized roles, specialized tech skills that are needed to actually thrive. So what is your advice for people to, the steps that they need to take to make sure that they are very, very important in that fintech industry and actually to also get it right? So you can actually look at the question in the screen. That's just the summary of it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I was hoping that you will not forget to ask me that question because I really think it's important. So most times when hiring managers reach out to me, even if they want to hire software engineers, front end, back end, cloud, anything at all, they would always emphasize on the need to hire somebody from another fintech or from a banking background. And there was one time I was thinking about it. I'm like, hey, God. So what's going to happen to people that are not from these industries, or someone that is not from the finance? Because I mean, the one thing that joins fintech, banking, and all of them is finance, right? What's going to happen to somebody that is not from the finance background? What's going to happen to them? And then I thought about myself, and I will not lie to you, as much as they say that there are people that have gotten jobs that are not from finance industries. Now, here is how they did it, or here is how we did it, because before I joined my current organization, I was working with an agency, a recruitment agency. So the first thing I'm going to say is, if you want to work in fintech, please, you need to understand the fundamental. You need to know what fintech is about. You need to know what they do, right? If you can understand that, then it's easy. The rest is easy. So you need to understand how they are using technology to enhance finance. You need to understand what the business is about. You need to start learning about the various opportunities available and then see how you can fit in, okay? Now, when that is done, because that is important for you, it is very important for you to understand the broad ecosystem of fintech. When you understand that, then you can now start thinking, okay, how do I fit into this? So then, with that said already, I am going to highlight some specific valuable skills that you need to enter fintech or succeed if you're already there. Can you guys hear me? I think.
Yes, we can. We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So I mentioned one earlier, and that is good written and oral communication. If you're going to work anywhere in the world, in any position, entry level, experienced level, whatever it is, even if you're going to work as a cleaner anywhere, good communication is important. And guess what? It never gets outdated. So maybe you attend another conference and they are talking about business and they talk about communication, or you attend one training for whatever, skills training or something, they mention communication. I am thinking, what's the big deal about these communication skills? It is a big deal. It is very important. It is very important. So please pay attention to that. Another thing I'm going to say is technological literacy. You want to learn about technology. Now, generally and specifically, right? Generally in the sense that, okay, now that you want to work in fintech, these fintech people, what do they even do? How do they use technology to enhance payment? What kind of technology do they use? Now, specifically in the sense that this is the role that I want to work in. And maybe I need to mention in this place, just as an aside, I really love to see it that people who are not programmers or data analysts or developers, I really love to see how they have learned to see how technology can help them to be better in their business. So I know somebody who says she's a tech photographer, and you wonder, what is a tech photographer? Sorry, my Yoruba is always flying out. Which one is tech photographer? Again, but she defines it. She has seen that in this tech industry, there is a way things are done. I am a photographer. Okay, I'm going to position myself to help tech people tell their stories with photography. So my niche is to look for tech starters, to look for startups, to look for founders, and take pictures of their organization, take their pictures, and they are using these pictures on the internet to find more opportunities. As they are finding more opportunities and their businesses are growing, guess what? People are discovering her too, right? So specifically in the sense that when you learn about technology, you need to learn, how can this thing work for me in my own field? Because we will not all be developers. I am a tech recruiter. I don't know how to code, right? So maybe sometimes in future, I may learn how to code just for learning's sake, because we keep learning. But it's not what I want to do. It's not my area of interest. It's not interesting to me. I'm sorry, or not. So you need to learn specifically how this is going to work for you. The next thing I'll say is innovative mindset. See, the tech industry is not about invention. It's not majorly about invention, right? It's about innovation. It's about how can I make this thing that is already existing? How can I make it better? How can I make the life of people easier? So you need to have that mindset. And a way you can show that to somebody, to a potential employer, is to show your enthusiasm towards tech, right? See, one thing that gets people jobs during interviews, sometimes it's not knowledge, it's enthusiasm. I've seen it play out a lot of times. I'm not going to lie to you, where the hiring manager will say, this guy, he doesn't really know this thing. He has an idea, but I like the fact that he's really happy about it and he wants to learn it. I think he's teachable. I want to train him. There is also that. So have enthusiasm. Then learn about AI, learn about data, have an analytical thinking. You want to be somebody who is creative in their thinking as well. The last thing I'm going to say about specific valuable skills will be adaptation and continuous learning. I think that is something we have said from the beginning of this webinar till the end. Make sure that you never stop learning. Be teachable, be adaptable. Then I'm going to say the things that Sokarabo Chief has said before about technical in-demand skills for 2024. You want to know about AI. You may want to learn cybersecurity. So one thing that I've seen is currently I have a role that I am working on at work. It is API developers. As a matter of fact, even when my manager gave me that role to work on, I had to first go and learn about who API developers are, the skills that they use, where I can find them. And I realized that there are not a lot of them. You will see everybody saying, I'm a backend developer. Well, not everybody. A lot of people saying, I'm a backend developer, I'm a full stack developer, I'm a front-end developer, I'm a product designer, I'm a product manager. But there are still untapped opportunities in this tech. So if you are somebody who is looking to work in tech, please look beyond backend, front-end. These are skills that you can look into. Look into AI. That's artificial intelligence. Look into cybersecurity. You want to look into cloud computing, DevOps. You want to look into data science and machine learning. So these are things that I think they are important and will keep you ahead in this year 2024. If you learn these things, you're good to go.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for. And we promised you the best, and I can see she's full of so much insight, full of so many tips. Yes, and if we leave her, she just keep on going. But out of respect for our audience and our participants' time, would have to draw the curtain at this moment. It's been so amazing, and I'm sure our participants would agree. Mr. Tosin would agree, and that it has been really, really an amazing time today. So before I give Mr. Tosin to kind of give us the final remark and summary, I want to give a shout out to all our participants today. I want to thank especially those who have been with us since we started the webinar today and have been here with us still. I want to shout out to Madam Esther, Madam Udwak, Tunji, our beautiful social media manager, Joshua, Oluwafemi Joshua, Oladeku. I want to thank Effiong. Effiong joined us a bit late today. Thank you, Blessing, our beautiful project manager. Thank you, Adeogun, Adepetun. I've been seeing Kenny. Kenny has been encouraging us with his handsome face throughout this webinar. Thank you, Kenny. We appreciate you staying with us today. I know I've learned. I hope you've learned something. Can you just wave if you learned something? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And of course, I'm going to give Mr. Tosin is going to be thanking oh, thank you, City Clotia. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here today. Thank you. We hope you've learned a thing or two from today's class for today's webinar. I'm so used to class. Mr. Tosin is going to tell us about our data analytics program quickly, and then also thanking our amazing, amazing, amazing speakers for today. Over to you, Mr. Tosin.
So very quickly before I just round off this session, I want to give Sukari just 30 seconds. There was a question that was directed at him. I just want to take that question so that we can all go. Then I just say one or two. So Sukari, you want to go? Just 30 seconds. Do you want to say something? Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. So the question, I think, is from Adeputun, which is, how can tech startups keep up with the country's current economic situation where $1 equals 1,400? In fact, over 36 information technology companies he knows has folded up due to lack of funding. And yes, it pays if you make money in dollars, but what if you earn in Naira and have to pay for your platform services in foreign currencies? Okay, so I would say two things. The first one is build with revenue in mind from day one. Okay, so from day one, consider revenue, consider generating revenue. It is not a passion project. Okay, your startup is going to cost you money. Okay, because it is going to cost you money to operate, you have to build with revenue in mind from day one. Okay, and also, secondly, try to keep your operational costs at the minimum. Okay, so build with respect, build in a scalable way. Okay, don't take on too much things and increase your running costs outrageously. Okay, so build the scalability in mind. Only consider things that you need at every given point in time. Okay, and lastly, if you have to raise using debt in the current situation we have right now, okay, if you want to raise using debt, raise in local currency. Okay, don't go and raise in foreign currency that you have to now convert and you have to now pay back. Okay, you're going to be spending a lot of money to pay back, right? So I hope I've been able to address that question. Okay, yeah.
Thank you very much, Sukaribo. Just to add to that your statement, I love the fact that you said build with revenue as a core, like as a core of your building. In our organization, we always say that even every manager or every builder, every startup founder, one important skill that you have to learn is to actually learn how to sell. So even as you are doing, and I noticed that recently, our people in the startup ecosystem are not really harnessing the power of collaboration. We must understand that there are a lot of things that we might not be able to do alone, especially in this current economy that we're operating. So why not just collaborate? So you see people today, a lot of people want to start, they want to do it alone, and they don't have the resources that can actually help them to do it alone. Why don't you just look for one or two persons that shares the same kind of vision, the same kind of enthusiasm with you, and so you guys can just do it all. So there are a lot of things that we still have to learn, but let us close this session because we are just far beyond 6 p.m. Thank you so much, Sukaribo, for actually making out time to be with us during the session. Thank you, Oluwatomi. Thank you, KG. I've learned a lot I've learned the power of consistency. I've learned enthusiasm. I remember there was even a time I sat in an HR room. We're trying to recruit somebody. And one of those things that actually made me accept one of the proposed employee was the fact that I said, I see this person like somebody who is teachable. And we have to just, soak that person into the organization. Thank you, Oluwatomi. Thank you, KG. Thank you, Antonia, for actually making this session a wonderful one. I am so thankful. And so our data analytics class is going on. We have about 3 cohorts that will be running for January, February. We have started one. We started and people are just coming to say we want to learn data analytics with Equations of Technology. By Monday, we are going to actually roll out a course that will be thrown out again for people to register. And so if you're on this platform, you can tell your friend, you can tell your family, you can actually register with us. We mentioned something in our organization. We use the 70-20-10 learning approach, which means our work are majorly eye on project. We actually emphasize project in our work. It's 70% of our work, 20% of group working and collaboration, just like we have mentioned, some skills, interpersonal skills that people need to develop, then 10% on the theoretical part of the work. So thank you everyone from everywhere you're joining us from over the world. We'll be looking forward to see you in the next webinar session, which will be happening next month, and it's going to be announced. Thank you very much, everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Just
Thank
your
you.
chat. You see the links to our community. Goodbye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank